Yeah.
I'm gonna have some Bombay real quick.
Yeah, man.
Mm.
What was that? Mumbai. You're introducing me to all these things.
Oh,
Just straight.
yeah, cocoa leaf.
Coca leaves. You don't need to swing it down with anything. Just a nice blend. Do you want me to do some talking for a little bit?
Yeah, it's Bombay from Colombia. Like it's used especially when talking. Like they use it
Yes, I know. Yeah.
traditionally. Yeah, traditionally when they do talking with each other, it helps soften the word and it helps just, open the heart a little bit.
Yeah.
I never have Bombay at 9 a.m., but now is a good moment.
And you got blue blockers on at 9 a.m. as well.
Yeah, man, because we stare at the screen so much, dude.
Yeah, I hear you.
It just, the
Takes the intensity away.
what is it? The radiation. There's radiation on the screens.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully this helps. I also have my T1, my blue shield. This is the EMF blocker. This little guy.
Wow.
T1. Have you seen this?
No. I feel like I've
It's so cool.
seen iterations of it or something, but not that.
It's basically it just buzzes on the Schumann resonance. It goes at the 432 frequency. So when our bodies are around that, it chooses this instead of the EMFs.
Mm.
So it doesn't really like block them, like make a shield and like block the EMF. It does like a Zen kind of ninja move where it just gravitates towards the more nature-based frequency.
Hmm. Amazing. Have you been on
Yeah.
Luke Story's podcast yet?
No, Chris has a few times.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
need to be.
Oh, Luke, dude, we're bros with Luke. Luke is
Yeah.
tight. Yeah.
Great man.
Though now he's on a whole other like there's so much innovation in that world. Yeah, I'm
Mm.
sure you know. There's like they're taking their blood out and then putting it through these cleaning machines and then putting their blood back in. Oh man, I don't know if I can do that, dude. That's kind of
His teeth seem shinier these days. That's what I do know. It's a bit too much. It's like I swear it just happened recently, and I'm like, whoa. Maybe that's a
yeah, bro. It's real. It's real, dude. I like saunas. We're
yeah.
building the cold plunge over at my bro Chris's house right now. The sauna, we built the sauna, the little like circle sauna. We built that.
Hmm.
And yeah, I just like being in nature, Like that's the medicine, the nature baths. And
But
so real that water,
is it
where
beneficial
water
to
is.
think about the water as a living entity? I mean,
100%.
yeah. So that's like a way in. It can be a way in for people to we visualize like a living thing that is alive, but also can die and decay, but then can also be very vital, right? And it's like there's talk to me about that process of like the young, like, immature stage of water, and then the kind of more mature stage of water. Because I think that's a nice model for people to understand.
Totally. So Beta Austin breaks this down and Jen breaks it down as well, but like water transcends the idea of death and life altogether. It is life. It doesn't, even when water is polluted and it's like, it's not in its natural state, but it doesn't die because the water can evaporate from that. And then those molecules go back into nature and
Mhm.
then they're reconnected to life, to the livingness of the earth.
Yeah, there's not really a
And it
natural straight state of it, right? It just depends on pressure, temperature. It's like humans. It is like everything. It does depend on environment and circumstances, right?
yeah, it's so complex. And so it doesn't really have a death or a life.
Mm.
That's why it's hard, it's really hard to understand water because we don't know a majority of it, right? The whole primary water theory, there's a whole like primary water institute, which is basically proving to certain degrees that there is more water inside of the earth than there is outside of the earth.
Okay. So,
And then even over here on Hawaii, there's some Hawaiian elders that I've talked to, some indigenous bros, who confirm that there's springs in the ocean on the coast that are gushing out spring water. And they said they even can like go to them and drink them, and it's not salt water
mm,
because the Hawaiian Islands are like water purifiers for all of the water on top of the earth, like on top of the earth. That's not like inside.
yeah.
So they're like the islands are volcanic, and that's why they exist. But also, water follows this same levitational force, like coming up in a organic way. So that's also something of primary water, where the springs are gushing out water. And what is it for? It plays a part in adding clean water to the rest of the water cycle, like on top of the earth.
Yeah.
So that then that all evaporates, and then it is constantly in this transformation, basically.
So is the theory around the world's freshwater running out true or in our lifetime, or is this just we haven't looked hard enough and we haven't got the technology to understand it?
No, 100% haven't looked hard enough. I mean, my god brother is he's like a conservationist in Maine, and he has the one job. Each state has one or two people that are responsible for monitoring the freshwaters, and they only monitor like 100 miles. So like not even a lot, and they don't consider springs as anything. They call them seeps, and they say that there's just not even it's not drinking water. It's nothing that is considered something to pay attention to.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
there's this water everywhere. So on Findaspring, we have around 1900 springs on the map, and most of those are fresh water, like cold springs. So most of those could be drank from, basically. Of course, people need to go test them, and that's their own adventure, basically. That's their own responsibility,
Yeah.
right?
So while we're on that, how do people test their spring water? Or may if they just go and find a spring, and I've done this before and I actually couldn't locate it, but I saw something that might be it and I don't know if it is. It's more of like a, it
Yeah.
looks like looks like a stream, but it could be the source. What's the best way, and how close to the spring, what you'd call the source, how do you know that kind of distance, and I assume as far it travels further, it's not as going to be not as clean. How do you kind of measure all that?
Yeah, so on Find a Spring, we have a link to the water test kit that we use. It's about $400 or $500. And these tests are really, self-explanatory. It says how to do them on it. The company that sells them also has like many different tests. So you can choose like which level of test you want to do. You can choose the really, really expensive one if you want to drink from it like all the time and you feel like that's the due diligence that you want to do to take responsibility for drinking water from nature, right? So there's that part. But then also if you look on in the States, if you look on the forestry maps, you can Google like forestry maps and then Google it per county. And a lot of times the forestry maps say on them like where the springs are.
Hmm.
because these guys that, map the mountains and map everything, they they put a lot of times on these maps, the springs. And so most of these are not on Findaspring because Findaspring is only uploaded by the community, right? So every
Yeah.
spring that's there is only uploaded from the community. I put a few on,
Yeah.
we put a few, but so there's a few different ways you can do it of looking into, is it a spring? Is it a like, something else? Like most of the times, if there's no rain, right, and the water is just coming out,
Sure.
it's probably a spring. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of springs. Like there's a lot. Like where the mountains go up, that's the same thing as the water. Like that the whole, what nature is doing with the mountains going up, water is all part of that. It's all like this levitational up. Victor Schauberger talks about this, Rudolf Steiner, David Wolf talks a lot about this, Daniel
Yeah.
Vitalis.
Yeah. So being naive around it, I first felt until you just said that with that the water's coming from the hills because it's rainwater or it's coming from the top and it's coming down. So gravity is producing this spring, but that's not the case. It's all coming up. Love it. I'm learning.
It's levity. That's this whole, bro, the whole water thing is so deep
But this is
because
how like someone that's focused 10 years of my life on like understanding what it means to be human. I don't even know this. Like this is
we're still
quite
learning too, bro. I promise. I'm taking Jen's course right now, like still learning.
nope,
It's
wrong about
so
that
deep.
one.
It is so complex. I mean, here, I'll tell you about this other thing that's really interesting is when the hydrogen bombs were going off a lot, that hydrogen is called deuterium. And there's studies, Luke has interviewed these guys that are biophysicists at UCLA in Los Angeles studying this. And they have a water company as well called Light Water, where they sell deuterium water. But basically, the deuterium is in the environment a lot, like too much, more than nature made. And so it's a hydrogen. So deuterium is one of the two or three kinds of hydrogens. And so it's in the environment, like polluted a bit, right? And so a lot of water has high deuterium. And these guys are studying deuterium and its effects on the body and how this causes illnesses is what, and they're both biophysicists and they're working with doctors as well. I could drop you a link if you want to link people to this.
Mhm.
But this deuterium, which is toxic in the environment, it actually is a part of our bodies and nature. We're born with deuterium in our bodies in a very balanced amount. And the purpose of deuterium is when children have growth spurts, right? It's the deuterium plays a part in the growing of the human body.
Mm.
So it has a very specific role in nature and in our bodies, but then it's also in the water too much because of the hydrogen bombs. And so, now there's deuterium tests that people can do and see if you have too high of deuterium in your body. And the only way you can get deuterium out is to drink deuterium depleted water. So people make this water, but also springs are deuterium depleted as well, some of them, because they're primary water and they don't have all this pollution in it. So the spring that we use in Oregon is deuterium depleted. And so all the water that we share in California is deuterium depleted water, but we don't even sell it as deuterium. If we did, it could be sold for 5 times more, but it's just spring water.
Hmm.
It's nature makes this already. Like it's not,
Yeah, constant.
yeah, constantly. And it's like there's more also about the springs that we don't know that are still being discovered, but it's really deep, the springs, and how, we're basically rediscovering our reconnection to them. And like Charles Eisenstein talks a lot about, we're yeah, playing our part to make the story going forward, basically. To
Yeah,
to rewrite the story and to make it a new story.
yeah. And it kind of starts there, doesn't it, with water?
Yeah.
It really has to.
So even if we have to talk to the kids and we have to talk to our parents and we have to talk to people, like that's just part of the story, like however that goes, we're here for it. And, if some people don't, um, whichever way that goes with people, that's part of the story and it's all good. And as long as we do this part, right,
Mhm.
just try to do our part of playing. It's the same for like men's work, like and all of this. It's like it's so deep. Men's work is like it transcends every container that you can put it in because it is relates to everything,
Yeah.
right? And it's like
Hard to put on a web
this,
page.
yeah, we're just talking about nature basically. It's like we're still learning. It's,
Yeah.
so yeah, water is so deep, bro. It's so deep.
Yeah.
And yeah. And
So,
then using glass, like that's the other thing is using glass.
sure.
Like you can't put it in metal. If you put it in metal, the electromagnetic frequency of the metal, it can make the water acidic, basically. It lowers the pH. It's not like how, so glass is made of sand, right? So this is like as close to the earth as you can get. It's like we're not like reinventing the wheel. We're just kind of trying to go to the natural ways, right? It's
Mm.
it
But
it just is that simple.
but have you had to make decisions not based on maximum growth and maximum profit? Because that's that's the system we're in, and that makes sense for most people. So if it makes it cost a fraction of the price to put it in plastic, oh yeah, let's do that. Looks the same. It's like,
Yeah.
hold on a moment. What are we a part of? What are we trying to save? It's deep, man, because then you start asking those questions and you start trying to you have a more intimate relationship and you start to feel more. Which I get that from you, I get that from you. You're deeply involved and it's your life. So yeah,
It is our life, bro, and it's you know what's really important for people to know. I really respect everything you're expressing and sharing right now, and it's very important to say this. But even though we do a live water and we do find a spring, we're in it, and we have limits in it. Like we can't do everything we want to do. We can't be everywhere we want to be. We're limited by business dynamics and by you know everything that normal businesses are limited by, even though we do things in the way that we do them in the with the philosophies that we have.
yeah.
Yeah, still we're super limited. And it's like this is what makes us more passionate about, going forward. It's like, okay, we're gonna get there. We're gonna, it's we're not necessarily like trying to change the world, but we're just trying to grow our vision and to just, and we know there's so many more people. There's like 3,000 alive water customers.
Mhm.
That's not a lot. It's a lot, but we have so much room to grow because we know there's more people that want this option,
Mm.
right? That want the chilled water in reusable lead-free glass. and springs that are really clean with no radioactive isotopes, no deuterium. Well, there's some in the water, but it's not toxic, with no what is it called? Industrial pollution, basically, like PFSAs, these forever chemicals
Mm.
that are basically Robert Kennedy identified them as like 2.7 thousand pharmaceuticals. Like we're trying to just push our vision forward because we know there's more people that want
Yeah.
to have options that are not that are not that.
Mhm.
It's like, so not because we want to, grow at all costs or anything like that. We're super limited because of the way we do it. You know, everything in glass, it's super expensive. And then also we do a live water, which is the business. And then we also do Findaspring, which is like, and it's like competition for each other. It doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
You do a business and then you do a nonprofit that is trying to show people
You can get it for
where all
free.
the free springs are. We have to do that though. It's like
You've cornered the
we have
market, but you're not making money from one of them.
no, we're
You've
not only
explored,
making,
yeah. It's the
yeah,
avenues though. It's like if you don't do this, then just please do this. It's
yeah,
disintegrity,
yeah,
really.
yes, because we can't be there. We're like, buy some glass, you can buy some water bottles. Here's the test kits, Findaspring, like please do make friends. That's how I made, friends with Chris. He's my best bro.
Mm.
And I've known him since 2012. And it's just like that. Like if people go hunting together or do men's work or do farming or gardening or yoga, you know, water is just another epic way, right, for people to meet. And maybe they'll do a business also, maybe
Yeah.
they'll make a delivery business in wherever, Montana or,
Mm.
Texas, anywhere. It's
Yeah.
so like that. So
But it changes the way
we,
you interact with your environment, right? It can change just like searching out for cold water wherever I go because I want to dip. Like it's the same, has the same essence to it. Everywhere I travel now, I've just got a more intimate connection with my environment. And anything that does that is gonna, you're gonna be better for it, you know. That's what it's just standing for something as well. That's what I get from you. It's standing for something. Not necessarily driven by any other thing, but like making a stand. And it doesn't mean you're going to change the world, but it's like you're kind of saying no. And it's in that decision, like you look at any other person who's changed history for the better, it's like they've made a stand and that one act has changed a lot for people. So it's a worthy endeavor, brother. So I want to get a little history lesson because when did we stop drinking water from the environment? Like
yeah.
when of course towns were built, springs were, redirected, but like when did we stop drinking from our streams and like when did that come in?
This is a good question because I've been in the Amazon a lot, like 15 times, and you know, there's uncontacted tribes there that still drink from the streams.
Hmm,
There's
different
a lot of layers to
guts,
this.
right?
Huh?
Different guts.
Different microbiomes, exactly. And they have different microbiomes, and it's from the soil that they eat from.
Sure.
That's where all,
Well, they're
all of
getting a
the
lot of other needs met as well, so they're pretty healthy. So therefore, little things won't affect them so much, but we're a bit more
yeah,
temperamental.
so like in the Amazon, some people still do this. In Northern Europe, they definitely do it like all over. There's only two places left in the United States that does this like as a city. But there's probably like 60,000 people on Find a Spring that are drinking from springs like all the time.
Mm.
So probably when the United States was getting going, like there was more of this way because it was like European influence and all of that. Um, but even Southern Europe doesn't have the the same water awareness as Northern Europe.
Mm.
You know, and I have no idea about Asia other than there are spring altars and in Europe, especially like France and Ireland and Scandinavia, there's a lot of yeah, spring water. Um, the spiritual connection to the spring water there is very real. I don't know about Africa, I don't really know, but yeah, it's we evolve for sure drinking water. I don't know if I believe that we evolved from chimpanzees or something like this, but there's still a lot of people drinking water from the streams and springs and stuff. But now it's polluted, so right, like
Yeah.
now I'm on the board of a NGO called Mothers of the Amazon, and my friend Bonnet put in like 40,000 French wells last year, and she's gonna put in like 40 more in the Amazon because the French wells are solar powered and they're the longest lasting and make the cleanest water. They're super expensive, but they'll last like 10, 15, 20 years, probably even more,
Is it
possibly.
hard to measure how long wells are going to last, or until you have to maybe drill deeper, or like? And also, I've got to bring this up. Did you see Mr. Beast, the YouTuber? You know, Mr. Beast. He drilled like 100. What he said, 100 wells in Africa, and he did it for this YouTube video. You know Mr. Beast.
No, no, no.
You don't know? Okay, he's the most successful, famous YouTuber in the world. So his
Wow.
videos get like 200 million views, like it's nuts, and mainly probably
Wow.
China and US and beyond. But he makes insane videos and reinvests all of the money that YouTube and sponsors give him into making more videos. He spends millions on his videos, like film budgets on one
Oh
video.
my God.
Go have a little look at Mr. Beast.
He's
I
like
mean,
a Drake or like Lil Wayne for the YouTube.
100%, yeah. And he's like, I don't know, he's like 30. And his story is quite
Wow.
interesting. He tricked his mum to say he would go to school every day, but just made videos. And he was like, he had
Whoa.
accountability, he had to make it work, or his mum would like whip his ass. He's been on Joe Rogan, like he's super famous. But anyway, this video, he just said, look, governments don't do it. I'm gonna go to Africa, I'm gonna drill 100 wells, and then and he just
Good
made
for
it
him.
happen. I don't know how real or like how long they're gonna last, but like
Good
it
for
just makes you
him.
think like, fuck, all the money, all the like budgets and all this random nonsense that we dedicate to certain things. It makes no sense. I think it's 1 in 3 haven't got access to clean water, and it's going to be it's going to be 2 in 3 in like another 50 years, which is just outrageous, right? 80% of the world's disease comes from like poor, unclean water. Like, wow. And our food system, which is this is the number one killer of health in the world. That's like agriculture. And I used to think it was the food. Then I was like, no, it's the soil. No, 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 it's the water.
Ah, it's so wild, bro. It's so wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's beautiful to see people, man, to like take what we have that's really good from our world, right? And then like bridge it into these other communities and countries. And
Mm,
this is beautiful bridge work. It's like the rainbow bridge of like all the good things from here to there, and then all the good things that they have that are virtuous and uh, useful and important, right? Like cultural pieces of their stories and their language and like their art, right? And then also to give them clean water as well. It's like, wow, what a blessing, you know? What a beautiful thing. Who this Mr. Beast, good for you. Keep going. Jeez.
Outrageous. So
Go
can we?
more.
I know. Can we talk about filtration? Because I still feel like people are going to be listening to this episode.
Yeah.
They may have inspired, and you know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
they're going to change.
Filtration deep.
They're going to change a few things, but they're. I've got to assume that they're going to still think I drink tap water. Like, what is the What are the options?
Well,
Um,
you could drink tap water.
that is an option. It's going to keep you alive.
We have a good filter over here as well because we don't have alive water here. We drink also really good filtered water.
Hmm.
Um, and so I can link you to these filters that we really recommend.
Okay.
And also, Luke Story did a really good podcast on the filters. But basically, you need a lot of like uh, charcoal and a lot of uh, cleaning of the things in the water. Um,
Hmm.
you could drink tap water though. It's not, and most people will need to drink tap water.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely link you. We can put a link to the filter that we recommend. Um, but also what probably is really good is to test the water too.
Yeah.
Like
Why is it
I'll
all
link
so different? Why is the northern water different to the southern? Like, I don't even think I don't even know where who's pumping the water out. What are they? Where are these? I feel like there's these underground cities where they just like circle the water and like flush it through and back,
well,
and I
well,
don't
so
even
I,
know.
I think in Europe, the all the springs that are on the top, like Northern Europe, where they're still drinking the water, it's the same systems that go down into Southern Europe. But then the ideas of the cities evolved, and then more people and um, more pipes, that stuff corrodes and they have to like combat the pipes. It's like
Yeah, what are the pipes
you
made
know,
of, right?
exactly, yeah, so basically that thing happened where the cities just evolved. And so that's why it's good, I think, that everybody tests the water to see what's in it. Like rather than just, buying a filter where it just is like the best filter, or that's cool, but maybe good also to see what's in it. So I'll link the deuterium test, which is I think like $100 or something.
And you can use
And
that over and over again.
well, you just test it once and
Sure.
then just see like what's in it, yeah. And then you have to send it back to them. They have a lab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get on to van lifers as well, because as you might have seen, I'm van lifing, so
Yeah.
my water's all over. But I have the opportunity to pop into springs now and again, which I've been
Oh,
doing.
that's so cool, bro. Go stay at the hot springs.
But it's yeah, it's not easy. Um, I end up getting it's another rabbit hole, but like bottled water from shops, which are obviously in plastic. You
Uh-huh.
know, was that preferable over getting filling up at a supermarket tap water? Is that preferable, do you think? It's been sat there for maybe weeks or months in bottles?
No.
No.
No, because the plastic, like there's new studies coming out that shows that we eat like I forgot what it is, but I think it's like a pound of plastic or something. A lot of plastic. Yeah, the microplastics. So this is why we need to do a lot of detoxing right now, like saunas,
Yes,
um,
honest.
fulvic acid, charcoal, even combo.
Mm.
Um, you know, uh, the detox is real right now because the environment is really, uh, it's just dirty, And so, yeah, the plastic, it comes off the bottles, bro. Especially if the bottles are sitting in the heat, but the plastic, it leaches out. The metal leaches out as well. That's why the aluminum bottles, no, dude, you don't want to be drinking that. It's not good for you. The aluminum comes out. It's associated with a lot of illnesses. I'm not gonna go into it here and make anybody feel
No,
shamed or
do
anything
it.
like
No,
that.
you don't need to do that, but we still need to know. I love hydro flasks. I've
But,
got like three of them, like stainless steel.
well,
Like,
I
just
have one
don't hold it,
too.
don't hold back. Like that, no one
I
wants to.
have one too. I have one too in my Jeep because if my glass one breaks, I want to have a backup one. So I have a little one, and then though I don't use it like a lot, I'll you know, use my glass bottles, but there are now metal bottles
Yeah, with
that's like
glass
metal
in the middle.
with glass. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes
So
sense.
like that's the more clean way. And also what's really important for people to know, it's like we don't need to detox forever. Like if you just start to make these changes, right, and start eating organic, start not eating so much, maybe even, and like taking some supplements, some tonic herbs, some charcoal to help the body detox, some fulvic acid, shilajit, right? More minerals. Our body detoxes on its own also, so it's not like uh this huge, 10-year detox, like
Mhm.
just probably like a couple of years if people wanted to start making these shifts, they would probably feel a lot better, noticeably, maybe even like higher energies. And then you start getting this T1, you
Mm.
get some blue shield, the little, the EMF blocker. It just is like, it helps. It all helps, right? Because we're bombarded with everything now. It's like EMFs, 5G, is it good for us? Is it bad for us? It's kind of like we have to be these kinds of ninjas now a bit. And um, yeah, I mean, there's even like Ayurvedic teachings that are really good, like don't drink water or anything after you eat for at least 15 minutes, like let your food digest, all these things.
Yeah, and
Because
tea
the
as
water is
well.
absorbed.
I think tea is something that I just avoid when I'm eating now. Stops absorption. But yeah, we've kind of been conditioned to think that we need water whilst we eat, or it's always there. But I, as I've just understood myself more, I'm not. You're not even called to it. If you really bring awareness to how you feel, you don't need to wash your food down with any water.
Yeah. And then one other thing that's really important for people to know is that all these big companies, well, most of the plastic bottles, even Perrier and um, the sparkling ones that they sell at the restaurant, that's all owned by these multi-billion-dollar corporations that buy smaller companies out. I've seen it happen. They buy them out and then shut them down, lay all their employees off, and then they try to sell to those customers all the plastic bottles, the little plastic ones. And this is like a water domination business model that's happening, right? And it's really sad actually, because a lot of people don't really know this and don't know. It's like, oh, it's so convenient. It's at the store, right? Like uh thank you. Right? Like, thank
Yeah,
you so much. It's so convenient. But then it's like a multi-billion-dollar business that's like all plastic, and it's like some of it's recycled toilet water, some of it's like recycled different, all kinds of different weird things, and it's like far away from nature. Like it's going farther into this way. Like it makes sense why all this AI is like fake people happening now and like all this weird stuff that's going on,
yeah,
because it makes sense. It's not coming out of nowhere. There's already been so much of the stage has been set that we're just not aware of. That's like
mm,
this is just an evolution of that. The water is a huge part of all of this, like opposite of nature, disconnection from nature. It's really, this is the most important thing. If we can just go out into nature, get our nature baths, go connect with the spring. If there's no spring, just, you can go to the lakes or, to the ocean even. But yeah, the way that it's naturally done, the plastics is not, thank God there's these people now. Have you seen these, bro? These big boats that are going in the ocean and they're like scooping up all of the plastic and
Mm.
like cleaning out, they have their nets and they're like trolling and just like cleaning up all this plastic out of the ocean and just like, what are they doing with it? I have no idea.
Yeah, like it
Maybe.
stays. It's every plastic that's ever been made is still here. Like just wrap your head around that next time you use a pen and throw it away. Every plastic you bit of ever touched is still here on the planet. Yeah, it's
So
fascinating.
not,
Yeah. It's interesting when you
so
pick it
not.
apart because thing you just said there was like spark this kind of just ideas of okay, well, we're going to make it really convenient to you. You're going to put you in a city. We're going to make you work, and we're going to bring all the food to you. We're going to take it from an environment where you're meant to thrive in, so you can be here more in the city, so you can work more and get none of your needs met as a human. To then just keep working, and you're like, okay, have I got this completely wrong? Like, what environment am I meant to thrive in? But you're doing this for me. Hmm.
Dude, it's deep, bro. So deep. And it's so, we've gotten like hated on before. And I don't want to go into it, but what's really crazy is like we're not doing plastic bottles. Our water is, if anybody's listening out there that knows of the Store Air one in Los Angeles, it's like super expensive. Everybody who goes there is very well off, if not, more. Um, and they're expanding into San Diego now. They just, they're blowing up and they sell all these water bottles and everybody drinks them like nothing, right? Our water delivery is half the cost of that water. So it's like, even this part too, it's like people think that, oh, it's so expensive to drink a live water, or these guys are just like charlatans. They're just making, all these comments online, block, delete, block, delete, block, delete. It's like, it's really sad, this part, because this has all gone so far. The conditioning of taking us away from, right? Like a lot of things, the family units, like men being men, women being women, food being food, water being water. Like it's so deep, this whole the distortions and disconnections on all of this stuff. And water is very much a part of it. And I think it's even more left behind, to be honest. There's not as many people talking about this.
No.
It's a bit like we're a very small group of people,
Yeah, it's true.
but there's more people. I feel like that school that wants to take the kids to the springs is huge. That's why that's such an important thing. Jen Isabel's even game to help us write and create something to teach the kids about, and she's already doing it also for this Montessori school in Austin. She's already doing it. Jen's don't need no Findaspring. She's just like, I'm going for it. Like, so see, there's also people that are, and she's gonna be teaching the kids also, and she's gonna be reconnecting them, and like her bro over there too. He does all circadian rhythm stuff. Like, they're gonna be teaching the kids this stuff. So at the same time, it really is a blessing, right? Like, it's not the apocalypse or the end of the world, you know.
Mm.
It's just an all an opportunity, right?
All an
And
opportunity. We need
so
to go there to know that. We need to go there to know the rule and why. Yeah, it's
it's all
interesting.
good.
Maturation, right? We all need to go through these stages. It's growing pains, growing pains.
Growing pains. We're learning. It's that's all it is. We're just infinitely learning. Still, how are you? I'm good. I'm still learning.
God, it fucking hurts. I'm learning. Um,
Uh,
so I did hear, may have been you on the Thought Room podcast that I listened to, and you mentioned
oh yeah,
about
yeah.
when you do get your spring water, it's not gonna like be beneficial to just leave it for a while. Like it needs to, it needs to, I guess, still be, I don't know, like you mentioned some sort of thing to keep it alive. So how does that
Yeah.
work?
Well, so the like water filters, they do this thing to the water where it like shoots it out in a way where it's a certain pH, right? That's the potential hydrogen. That's the acidity versus alkalinity. So that's all based on the potential hydrogen of the water.
Mhm.
And so if you get the water from the springs, this potential hydrogen, uh, this static, like where it's at, it can it'll start to go down to acidic over like time. So we did a test with the alive water at Nassim Haramein's lab in San Clemente with William, his astrophysicist. And the water we had was like about 30 days after it got delivered to my friend's house, which was, it's very rare like that. Like most people are drinking the water every week, get a
Yeah.
new delivery next week. But he tested this water that was a month sitting there, and it still had the same potential hydrogen. It didn't go acidic. And so, this is very rare because it comes from the spring. That's why that happened, because it's kept in a cool, dark place the whole way that it gets in the delivery trucks to the cold storage. It's kept in a cold storage that is like 35 degrees, 40 degrees. So the water stays in the same way that it does like in the springs, because it comes out of the spring also like really, really cold. And so, when it gets to people's homes, then it leaves that cold environment, right? And then it goes into like room temperature. And so then it's good you put like kind of put maybe a cloth on it or put some sheet on it so that it's not getting direct sunlight. Because then the sunlight, right? It's like this is what it's the opposite of how spring water is. It's like a different environment. It's an inorganic environment to a certain degree, right? It's not under the earth. It's not how that is. So it's good to have the water sooner so that it doesn't like degrade basically. It doesn't change the state of
Mm,
how nature makes it, which is how it's intended to be consumed.
for sure. And what about
Yeah.
remineralizing your water after you've distilled it,
Yeah.
or like, would you? Because
So
I,
you don't want to do distilled water really. It's a little bit
no.
like hard on the body.
But is that a way
Yeah.
to actually understand how much is actually in the water? That because it will just take out, it will leave when you distill water. It leaves what all the nasties, all the chemicals. Like it basically just brings
That's
it.
something to like clean your body out, I think. It
Right.
helps your body detox, I think. So you don't want to do it like all the time.
Okay.
But there are minerals you can get, like Omega. Omega is a brand. There's the Aussie trace minerals. Um, even just can put like some salt in there. Like Zach Bush was talking about this the other day. Just throw a little bit of salt in there and it immediately activates the water and
Yeah.
there's mineral in the salt.
For sure.
It's all the potassium, sodium. This is the this is what creates the mineral balance, and it creates the potential hydrogen. Basically, it brings it to more of a balance, less acidic, not too alkaline. So the salt is probably the most simple, like,
Hmm.
yeah. And then taking like Shilajit, probably that's also the better way because
Add that to water.
no, I wouldn't add it to the water, just take it on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like you'll know more of how much to take. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's in Shilajit? I know it's minerals.
Oh my gosh. So many trace minerals.
Yeah.
So shilajit is like this resin that's from the earth.
Yeah.
Uh, what is it exactly? It's like fossilized those little nautilus shells. It's like these are like mineral and trace mineral like packages.
Hmm.
And so they've been eating this in the Himalayas, and it just was discovered like I don't know 20 years ago or something. So Shilajit is like a trace mineral and fulvic acid supplement, which is we need all these minerals and trace minerals and fulvic acid to help our bodies function optimally, to detox properly. It's the perfect Shilajit is like every day, just take a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Incredible benefits of Shilajit. Um,
yeah.
yeah, amazing, man. And like, but like countertop filters that are gonna take all fluoride, chlorine out of the water. Would you still no? Talk to me.
No, they don't. They don't. Yeah. They don't. You can do people can do their own tests on them, but there's more things in the water than the devices filter for.
Okay.
Like the things that are called PFSAs now, these are the what Robert Kennedy and the Water Keepers Alliance identified as pharmaceuticals. So, you know, that's something to address, for really good filters. I mean, it's just worse. The environment's really polluted now.
Is that better than not doing anything?
Yes, 100%.
It's going to do
It's
something.
better than, yeah, it's going to do something, but you could get even
Yeah.
better filters for like probably, Luke Story has a podcast. I'll link you to it because I think it's even 2 episodes. He went through like all of these filters, and of course, some of them are super expensive, but it would even be like a beautiful thing for a community to just pitch in. We had one. We did a raw chocolate shop for 10 years in Long Beach, and we had one there, and everybody would go and fill up, and we would all pitch in to fix the filters and to get the new filters. And this way would be most economic, and you know 10 people split the water filter, and then everybody's got all the water, and it's like a $2,500 filter or maybe 3 grand or something, but then it's like sure that it's going to be super, super clean.
Hmm. Okay. And
That would
then
be my recommendation.
can you dispel some myths around like reverse osmosis, which is distilling? Is that the same thing? But
Yeah, so I haven't thought about this in so long, but basically it's like something that was invented for I think for doctors' offices actually.
so you were going to say hospitals. I just had a feeling.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was this. And then if you notice on those filters, the way that it filters out, it like wastes just about as much water as it cleans. So it's like you always have to have a tube coming out of the filter,
Yeah.
because it's like, so basically that part, like just even that part is like so much water is wasted.
Mm,
It's, it's just, it's very peculiar. Yeah, it's interesting. I
mm,
don't remember exactly the details of the what's happening with the chemical or the like molecules, but it's also not a really good, natural way that the water is in nature.
yeah. Um, are you launching anything in the UK or Europe with distribution? Is that a thing? Like, so this filter that you're going to link to, is that like an undercounter? Do you just tap it into your main line and then it filters it? And do you have to replace
Yeah,
the
they have
filters? Like, how does it? What's the mechanics of it?
yeah, they have a few. You can see the website and there's a few different kinds. And then Luke also has his links of those ones. We could just like pull them off and link them all there too. But really, it's like a bit of a journey, to have a
Mm,
consideration on this and an education on it and to see like, oh, what do I like? Like what works best for me or what is inspiring for me.
yeah.
And then in Europe, yeah, we're gonna open in I think Southern Europe in Paris, and then try to just go do all Southern Europe because that's where the water quality is not, is needed. And so yeah, we'll be coming down from Northern Europe with the clean water.
So is anyone else doing this, what you're doing? Do you know any other companies in the world that are like distributing water, glass bottles, like doing this in the
There's
way,
some, yeah. Yeah, there's some. I saw some. There's some that just started following us on Instagram up in Grass Valley.
like door to
So
door?
that's like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And their website or their Instagram just showed like glass bottles. It's like super simple,
Yeah. Of
but people
course, you
people
can
are
get
now
like
like,
packs of 48 mineral water to your door on Amazon. I'm sure that's the thing. But like,
yeah, totally. But now there's more people doing it. Yeah.
yeah.
In Colorado, there's a lot of people doing this. Um, where else? In Idaho, there's some people doing it, I believe. Um, Even in California, there's a woman in Santa Cruz that was doing it. But really, it's so hard to do this, bro,
Mm,
because the cost to take heavy water around is so high. It's like the glass part with water is like not a good business model. It's just it's really when you look at the probably what they do is they go, oh, that's the cost of glass. This is the cost of plastic. That's like a 1,000 time
yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go with that. Like,
Of course. And
so
you,
there is,
yeah, you would, wouldn't you, when you're answering to a board of directors who are answering to trustees and pension funders
yeah,
and whatever it might be. I've just listened to highly processed people. Good God,
yeah,
that's very revealing about just the system we're a part of, victim of. To be honest, we are victims in a system um that is set up to keep you stuck in a way, or keep you consuming things that aren't good for you. It's
yeah.
just
We're targeted.
for
We're
sure.
targeted for sure. People are targeted. That's the whole like PR, you know, thing. It's definitely real. I mean, people are still eating fast food, It's like, come on, guys.
Mm,
We gotta take care of ourselves here. They're not thinking about that, that's for sure.
yeah.
You know.
No, well, Mark Groves, I just had on, and
What's
he talked about like the biggest act of rebellion is to just make a decision that goes against the mainstream. It's just the one thing. If more people started
so
doing
so hopefully with Findaspring, bro, this is what we're trying to do is like maybe more people can do this, like get some glass, get the spring water, test it.
that.
Hire some teenagers to go harvest it, like for the
Yeah,
community. Like, hopefully, I would love to see more of that, bro. Maybe that's what will come from when we teach the kids, more about the springs, that we'll actually be seeing more of this happening, you know? I
Absolutely.
hope so. We hope.
I
We
think
really hope so.
there's likely a lot of money to be made in testing and actually just personalizing that for people and just making it accessible and affordable to test your water. I could see that growing and a lot of people having access to that. So then it kind of empowers them along the way and then they can make better decisions, you know.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
Mm.
Exactly. This is our vision.
Great, man. Thanks for your time, bro. I really, really appreciate it. I really
I
love,
appreciate you too, bro, what you're
yeah,
doing as well. And it's a beautiful time to be alive. And you're so, where are you?
I'm in England.
You're in England.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. We got this community of like of soul fam,
Mm.
chosen fam, right? This is like a really important thing of being alive right now in the Aquarian age, as we're like really finding our community and we're like
Mm.
going towards these the things that actually serve us, basically, right? Like this
Yeah.
stuff,
Remembering what used to
finding
serve
this.
us.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful how we can be all over the world now and give a good meaning to the technology, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. Use the tools in healthier ways. Yeah, man.
yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Thank you so
Best.
thank you so much, man. Do you want to leave
Yeah, bro.
anything in this leave anything, any last words that you want to or where to point people to?
Oh, go outside, please. Go to the ocean, go to the springs, go to the hikes, go on all trails. You can go on this app now and you can go hiking all over the place, you know. And then we'll do the link so that you can see more to follow up on, basically.
Yeah, man. How can people support you?
Going outside. It's really how we're gonna, have happier people, right?
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want people to be feeling good and healthy. So yeah.
Mhm. Amazing, man. And what you most
Yeah.
excited about for next year?
Hmm.
Maybe more of the Aquarian age.
Huge. I'm turning 40 next year, bro. So I'm excited about that. I can already feel the power of that
Mm.
and the realness of that. And it's epic. I'm down with it. It's great.
Mm.
And so I'm looking forward to calling in more of the beautiful things in my life next year. All of them, like yeah, in this way of entering into my 40th year like that. Yeah,
Beautiful, man. Amazing.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's great to witness someone who's like excited about that kind of newness, that stepping into a different, yeah, a different age. It's like just exciting, like what's to come, you know. It's like growth and yeah, it just feels right for me for to see things in that way. It's like so
Yeah,
much
no, it is.
opportunity in stepping into 40. It's beautiful.
It's real.
Nice, man.
Yes.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
bro.
And we will
You're welcome, bro. Thank you.
we'll have a round two, mate. Maybe in person when I get to Hawaii.
Let's do it.